Marvin Pendarvis will run for South Carolina House District 113, formerly held by Seth Whipper. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Marvin one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Marvin.
Quinn.
It is so good to see you.
And it's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate this.
Likewise.
Well, I've been trying to get this interview with you for a long time.
Man, tell me about it.
I already knew the news about it.
Right.
And I want to take you back to June 13th because you said to follow me on Facebook, that is, quote, "First, I would like to congratulate Representative Seth Whipper on his recent magistrate appointment. I know that he will continue to serve the people in a tireless and honest way that is reflective of how he served in the General Assembly. I would like to thank him for all the work and effort he has put into serving House District 113, the Low Country, and the entire state of South Carolina. That being said, after my careful consideration, I am pleased to announce my candidacy for House District 113. Tell me why Marvin Pendarvis, why now?"
Well, Quinn, last time we spoke, we talked about some things that I had been doing. And as I evaluated things and the news came down about what was going on with Seth Whipper, I understood that I had been preparing myself for an opportunity in a moment like this. I knew that I wanted to be involved. I knew that there was a time that I needed to step up and be part of what was going on. For a long time, I had observed for what Representative Seth Whipper had been doing on the state level, some of the things he was able to do when it came to education and economic equality. I observed what other representatives such as Wendell Gilliard and David Mack were able to do and pledge the commitment to their community and make sure that the voiceless had a voice and the overlooked and forgotten were counted. And so when I looked at that and I started to observe, I realized I must help in this fight. And I've been doing a number of things around the city, around the county, to make sure that I was aware of the issues, that I was staying involved in. I'm looking forward to the opportunity of this campaign, and that's why now. Why now? I mean, he served honorably for 23 years.
Right.
And so Representative Whipper and I have had a number of conversations, and I think this is just the passing of his torch. That's how I look at it. Someone that can continue in the same spirit, but take it to a level that, with my unique experience, with my youth, with my energy, with the innovation that I bring, will be an opportunity to really have some good and fair and equitable representation up in Columbia that'll continue doing some of the things that he was able to do in his last 23 years, but also draw on my own experiences in order to best represent the people of this district.
You talk about your experience. For those who don't know, who is Marvin Pendarvis?
Well, Marvin Pendarvis is that young man who roamed the streets of Charleston Farms and Liberty Hill as a child, and the son of a single mother who struggled to provide for my sisters and me enough food, proper clothing, and truly an opportunity just to make our lives better. And so that's who I am. I mean, I'm a product of House District 113, a proud product, and I look at it as my duty to do right by the community that molded me. The community that encompasses not only House District 113, but the whole Low Country, the entire state of South Carolina.
And you talk about your mom. I want to go back to July 7th. You posted this on Facebook. Quote, "It's been a wild day, but I'm glad I got to the end with my mom celebrating her 59th birthday at one of her favorite restaurants, Smoky Bones." My mom loves that place too. "She's always been my motivation for why I fight so hard to be the man that she always said I could be. Love you, Mama." Love you, Mama. What would you tell her right now, knowing, hey, you're going to be running for the House of Representatives, and there's a lot of other good things in your future?
Well, I just tell her that, I love you and that I'm doing the things that you always knew I could do. I always recall, especially because of my mom, because she's so near and dear to me, being the only boy, and then her being a single mom, it had always put a lot of responsibility on me as a young man, but it was one that I shouldered proudly. And I remember when I was in the elementary school, maybe the 5th or 6th grade, and we had to write papers about who our heroes were, and that was my one. And that's who I talked about, because I just always admired what she was able to do and overcome. I mean, as a 19-year-old who decided to move to Charleston from Orangeburg, never had been here, and had one child and be able to just come down here, establish herself and raise 5 children and be able to provide the best life that she know how she could do for us. And so, I mean, that was all. She's always been special, and she'll continue to be special to me. And I'm just continuing to just make her proud.
Who else is motivating you these days?
Well, I take my direction from God, and you know, I don't move unless He says so. I don't act unless He feels like it's fit. And so, I mean, I'm a man of faith. I pray a lot. And, you know, I try to make sure that I'm doing things that I feel like is in His will for my life, and I truly believe that. I think that everything that's happened in my life to this point, the good and the bad, has prepared me for the experiences that I am in now. And so that's a huge motivation. I mean, that's a huge motivation.
As you know, I guess it's been, I don't know how many, unfortunately, murders in North Charleston over the past couple of days and weeks. I know that you've been out along with Pastor Thomas Ravenel and Shakim and all those folks,
Right.
really on the Stop the Violence Peace Tour.
Right.
What is your definition of stop the violence?
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, what's happened in North Charleston over the last 3 weeks has definitely gotten a lot of people on edge, trying to figure out what's going on, why it's happening, how can it be stopped. And when I look at stop the violence, we really have to look at a comprehensive way to really infuse our community with positivity, with good role models, with good programming, with good counseling, and everything that needs to happen in order to really rid it of the elements the criminal elements, the ones that we see far too often.
Right.
There are a number of reasons as to why things occur the way they occur. And you will hear a number of people, and you have heard a number of people over the last several weeks discuss and talk about exactly why things are happening. But I think we have to really do a self-assessment. And when I say a self-assessment, you know, every role. I think, as I said before, there's a comprehensive approach, and it's the blame or the responsibility doesn't fall on just one particular part. You know, as families and as community leaders and servants, we have to look at what we're doing. As city leaders and officials, we have to look at what we're doing. And as faith leaders, looking at what we're doing. And also as families, as parents, and as siblings, and as aunts and uncles, the village, we have to look at what we're doing. And I truly believe no one gets a pass. And I think we all shoulder some level of responsibility to making sure that we're doing our best to create the kind of environment, the safe environment that the parents and the adults can go to work, the children can play and grow and be cultivated and become the contributing and vital members to society that we want them to be. And in order to do that, you know, we all play a role in that.
Mm. You also said this back on your June 13th post on Facebook. You said the following quote: "I will use Representative Whipper's work and integrity as a resource, inspiration, and example as I look to continue and expand his work." When you expand his work, what do you mean?
Well, he's done a wonderful job over the last 23 years, and I've had the privilege of having a number of conversations with Representative Whipper about some of the things that he was able to do and some of the things that he believes can be done going forward. And so when I say expanding on his work, I want to be able to continue that fight for economic equality for the people in House District 113, to continue that fight so that the public education system here is adequately funded, so that we continue to educate our children, particularly in the public education system, to the best that we can in order to provide them with real opportunities post-graduation. I want to continue to make sure that we're creating the kind of safe neighborhoods, as I mentioned before, that the kids can grow up in. And so when we look at that and we try to review as to what can be done in this district, I want to expand on those. As I open with, I truly believe I bring a unique mind frame into this entire campaign and eventual hopeful servants, is that based off of my experiences and based off of what I've been through and also what I've seen and what I've researched and what I've learned over the years through the practice of law and just living, I know I'll be able to continue and expand on some of the things that he was doing. I think me being an attorney is very, very helpful. Representative Whipper was an attorney,
Right.
So just being able to analyze and truly parse through pieces of legislation and try to offer that as to exactly offer some kind of explanation as to exactly why we should or should not do something. And so those are some of the things that I look forward to doing. And, I've got my legs under me. And so I look forward to running and working hard and doing everything that I can do so that people feel comfortable that, Representative Whipper left it in the right hands. Mm-hmm. And that this district will continue to carry on and be strong and be reflective of what we want the state of South Carolina to be.
Describe to me the following one word: voter data.
Excuse me?
Voter data.
Voter data. Complex.
The gas tax.
Good.
The Charleston loophole.
Bad.
Marvin Pendarvis, thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate this.
Man, it's always been a pleasure. Like I told you last time, I figured we'd be talking soon. And so I'm sure we'll talk a number of times going forward. But I just thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime. I really appreciate this.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.